Hey Patrick.
Hey Mark, hi my friend, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, doing good as well. I tend to sleep a little bit better. I feel kind of yeah zenish right now. My meditations are working better right now. Yeah, I do actually feel good. The sun is coming out, and on Saturday, so we record this on Wednesday. It will be 30 degrees, so 30. So yeah, I'm doing quite good. So
That's
yeah.
insane, man. Yeah, it's the weather's been pretty nice here as well.
Mm.
So yeah, these are the better days. At
Yeah,
least,
absolutely.
IRL wise, but maybe not
Mm.
crypto wise.
Yeah, crypto. I think we need to learn with accepting and coping and surviving and yeah. But this is actually my topic today, which I would like to talk about. But before we get into those topics, did you make some portfolio allocation changes to your personal portfolio?
Yes. So what I did, I think 2 days ago, is that I sold some of my positions on Phantom, and they included Bitcoin, ETH, and I got out of the protocol called Granary, even though they are safe, so it's not that. I just wanted to
Mm.
reallocate it differently. So what I did is I swapped those for FTM, and then I off-ramped them to FTX, and then I swapped them
How
to
did you do
dollars.
it? How did you go from Phantom to FTX? Do you go, because there is no USDC deposit, right?
Correct. So you have to swap it to FTM, the token,
Mm-hmm.
and FTX accepts the FTM token to
Ah,
off-ramp.
okay.
So yeah, you have to basically swap everything to FTM and then get it to FTX. And
Mm.
it was a little bit, because FTM is right now maybe a little bit of, of a shitcoin, in terms of
Mm.
price fluctuations. And I had so much issues doing the transactions. So I was concerned that I would have a lot of market risk, in the time
Mm.
that I did the swaps and all these things. But yeah, but yeah, so this is a way. I also researched other ways to do it though, so it wasn't the only way to do it. What I could have also done is maybe swap it to USDT and then send it to Tether, the organization, and then try to get a wire. But I didn't
Wow,
want to
that
look
sounds
into that.
complex.
So yeah, and also what I could do is I also looked into the all bridging rates. I would have
Mm.
to swap it to Sol and then send it through with Albridge to Solana. And then on Solana, I can swap it
Holy shit.
to use the C or Sol and then offboard it there. But yeah, it makes no sense. So
Yeah.
I didn't do that either. But I did check the rates to see what would be the cheapest. But I think this was the least bad option.
Um, it sounds that you put some thought into it. So yeah, I guess going from FTM to FTX in itself sounds yeah reasonable. Even if you spend like a couple of cents more of transaction fees, just forget about this.
Yeah,
My gist of it.
yeah, like this on and off ramping and bridging, it is still very complex. Like in terms of you have to do so much research and see like what are all your options and what are the
Mm.
prices right now for all these things. There isn't a good
Yeah.
overview that I know. So if any of our listeners know about it, then please let me know. But
Mm.
it's always a hassle to to figure out what is the cheapest way to get your tokens out of a certain
Mm.
chain.
I think it's due to the fact that it's a pretty uncommon question of the last couple of months. Like, how did you get money out actually? So it was more like, how do I get money in? And yeah, so
Mhm.
I think that there will be more awareness in this regards over the next couple of months, most likely.
Cool.
Okay, okay. So
You didn't do anything, right, with regards to your crypto portfolio?
I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting on my hands right now, waiting a little bit. So we record this on the 15th of June. It's Wednesday, and the market has been really, 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 really volatile over the last couple of days. So the crypto fear and greed index was at 7, which is absolute blood in the street. And I think a lot of people are panicking, and I want to prevent myself from panicking. And this means I will just sit here, I wait here for a couple of days. If I have lower prices or if I have higher prices, so be it. But I just want to train myself in order to not panic. Um, because those prices affect me. We are roughly at the prices right now where I got in about 5 years ago. So yeah, I'm a little bit trying to not do dumb shit basically.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so I did nothing.
Okay.
Okay, okay. Do you want to transition to the topics?
Yeah, sure. Let's transition.
Okay, do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Yeah, sure. I'll start. So
Okay, okay.
this time I will cover a topic that covers a certain YouTube video by Bob Lucas, and it's called "There Will Be Blood." Not
Mm,
foreboding title whatsoever. And Bob Lucas, I must say that I didn't know this guy, and you linked him to me, right? And I think
yeah.
you got the reference from Julian, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, I found him myself. I,
Oh,
I,
you
I,
found it yourself. Okay.
I found him like a couple of years ago.
Oh, you found. Okay, okay. So just for the listeners who don't know who Bob Lucas is, he's a trader for over 25 years, and he specialized in focusing on gold and crypto, but he also covers U.S. equities, forex, and oil. And he's very cycle driven and technical analysis driven. So he looks at Bitcoin from a 4 year cycle. And just to give you a review of what he says. So he thinks the low of the cycle will be Q4 of this year or Q1 of next year. And he focuses more on time rather than price. So he
Mm,
doesn't say what the low will be, but he expects it to be in in this time range. And the same with the high.
mm,
And what was interesting to me, he said that with regards to cycles, if there's an early low, it usually means that the next cycle will be more volatile. I wasn't aware that you could have such a thing. And he is saying that he's buying below 20, and in his opinion, anything below 30 shouldn't be sold. And I'm talking about K in Bitcoin prices. And yeah, so at this point in time, I'm not sure what the prices are right now, but if they are below 20, I imagine that he is a buyer.
mm,
And his model portfolio is up 9x this cycle, and he's taken also back his initial investment plus profit. So in my view, he is in a very luxurious position to be able to buy a relative low and to have
mm,
these opinions about prices. Um, I will cover a couple more small things, Patrick, and then we
mm.
can do a little discussion.
Yeah, sure.
Um, he thinks it could drop 30% more. And when he made the video, I think Bitcoin was probably around, yeah, around 30K, maybe a little bit above, maybe a little bit
Mm,
below. And he is confident again that we will see the all-time high at some point in the future,
mm,
and that it will be also a six-figure number. And he says that a rally over the next month, if there is one, let's hope so, but if there
mm.
is one, let's say back to 40K, he thinks that is a bear market counter trend rally, and he will
What
use
does
it.
it mean?
It means that it is not the start of a new bull market. It is just
Mm.
you have a
Bear trap.
it's just yeah, a bear trap, and he will use that to sell a little bit more.
Mm.
Okay, so these are generally his views. Do you think I missed anything, Patrick?
Um, I think you gave really good summary, really, really good. I think the most fascinating thing about him is that he, at least for my taste, is really he has this long-term outlook, and he's a YouTuber, which not a real YouTuber, but he has a YouTube channel, and he releases a video like every 1 to 3 or 4 months. So the interesting part, I think, is that he is actually one which I highly respect. Talked about taking profits. So, like I said, I followed him for a couple of years by now. And when I discovered him, Bitcoin was at roughly 4 or 5K. And then he took some profits at, I think, 28K. And then he also took some profits at 42K. And taking profits on the way up, when Bitcoin got to 68K, you could say, this was too early. But I think he does a really good job about yeah, having a longer term trading time horizon. And I think you and I will get into this topic afterwards, we need to at least trade a little bit. So yeah, my TLDR out of what he said is basically that hopefully 20K holds. If not, yeah, this would be what is this word? Unprecedented, right?
Yeah.
So the old all-time highs they usually hold, and if we go below all-time highs, I think his analysis is not um, that accurate in regards to 30% down from 30K because it basically means 20K. I'm just more interested in his, yeah, time horizon, that there will be a low at the end of the year, and I'm wondering, before asking the question, I will give you my answer. So I think, no, let me ask you the question before. I think this makes more sense, sorry. Um, what do you make of this analysis? Do you think it has merits, or does it just go out in one ear? Does it just get in one ear in your head and go out on the other side, or will you take some actions based on what you said?
Yeah, let me share my thoughts with this because I think there's multiple points. So the first thing is that he is focused on 4-year cycles, and of course I know that there's a halving cycle, but I'm not convinced that the cycles won't be shorter in the future. Um, I think, if I'm not mistaken, these cycles are partially driven by miners, right? Bitcoin miners. And how big of a part of the market are big Bitcoin miners compared to like, Alameda and these kind of and Binance? I wonder if they're
Mm,
even that big to make the 4-year cycle. So I think his whole underpinnings could be wrong. But then again, he is an experienced trader for over 25 years, and he focuses on cycles. So he used cycles way before Bitcoin, right? So
mm,
um, yeah, he's probably an expert in cycles. So maybe there's something I'm missing. But I wouldn't just take that as an assumption that there will always be 4-year cycles in crypto or in Bitcoin, in my view.
mm,
And then I also think that you're right that when I checked the YouTube comments for this video, I was really I was really surprised because they were all like positive comments about people who were saying, "Yeah, I've been with you since the beginning, and you know, I thank you for your feedback and these kind of things." Where
mm,
I would have expected in these turbulent times that this YouTube comments would be complete trash and everyone would be
mm,
So that really gives him a lot of legitimacy in my eyes. That
mm,
yeah, yeah, he has a very different audience, a much more mature audience. So yeah, I think he is legit indeed. And also, I think this cycle is it could be a bit disrupted by external factors.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so because yeah, the market is totally different than it was back in the day, and also the Fed is very different than back in 2007 or 8. So we don't really know if this plays out. So
Mm,
I think there's a couple more skeletons in the closet of Bitcoin that could come out and bring the price lower. Um, but then again, I think there's also a lot of bad policy going around with politicians at the moment. And I think people may want to hold gold and Bitcoin as a anti
mm,
political stupidity hedge. So I think this could give Bitcoin a value for sure.
mm,
So I think also that Bitcoin could drop to a point where even some of the longer term hodlers, on Twitter, like the with the lightning icon in their avatar and hodl
mm,
in their Twitter name, that even they will sell at some point. So, but I think it will be a lower point than most, for ETH. Like I think ETH people will capitulate a little bit sooner. And
mm,
yeah, so these are basically are my thoughts, Patrick. So um, I can see some merit, and the main thing that was interesting to me is his timing view. So that he
mm,
thinks Q4 or Q1 could be the low, which means, man, we still have quite some months ahead of us, Patrick. So
yeah,
this was the main thing that I took out of it. But yeah, I think it's very interesting, and but yeah, I'm relatively open-minded to see many scenarios, so it didn't really change my mind or make my mind
mm,
on any scenario.
yeah. So I think you made some good arguments. I think that he is taking a guess like everyone else. I think yeah, the timing point is just the interesting one. So um, I will most likely just don't do anything. Maybe um, sell a little bit into stable coins. We do because I do need my safety net. But based out of this video, I thought it was just be interesting to see yeah, to hear your opinion about it, because usually you're not that much into technical analysis and let's say talking about the price over the next couple of years based on the cycles. And I personally think that those cycles, yeah, they are a deep rabbit hole. And you could also argue that there are no cycles at all. But yeah, thanks for sharing. We will link this in the show notes, and yeah, if that's fine for you, we can just transition to my topic if you want to, or if you want to add anything, we can absolutely talk about this a little bit more.
No, let's transition, Patrick.
Okay, okay. Um, so yeah, I have a topic which is so I thought about this, and I want to start a small series on our podcast. And the series is basically that I would like to reflect on things which I hopefully learned over the last 18 months. There are some things I hopefully learned, and I would like to share this with our listeners in order to prevent them from making, let's say, similar mistakes. And yeah, I would like to do it in this way that I will first tell you my take and what I noticed in myself where I might make a mistake. And afterwards, I would love to hear your thoughts about it if it's okay for you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so to give you and our listeners a little bit of context about my first learning over the last couple of 18 months, which is quite important. So I think within this week, the cycle has officially ended. There is no hopium right now that we will go up in prices, maybe a short pump, but I think we are now in a clear bear market, and most likely over the next 1 to 3 years. Maybe some smaller pumps in between, but I think those pumps will get sold off somewhat immediately because people are down like 50 to 90% on their assets, and they just want to make sure that they don't get wrecked to zero. So I think that the crypto cycle has ended, and the first so the bull cycle has officially ended this week. Um, and I think that the first learning I made a mistake in this cycle, which is hindsight 2020. But yeah, this is what learnings are based out of, right? You just take a look at what
Yeah.
you thought, and then you reflect on what happened. And I think my biggest learning is that I haven't took any profits at all, and I was hoping for a blow off top because everyone was talking about, yeah, there will be a blow off top at the end of the year, and then we go to 60K, 80K, 100K, whatever. So I haven't sold a single coin or token, and this means that my portfolio is down 70 to 80% right now, which is yeah, super painful because it can obviously go down to 95%, and then I would be way below my entrance prices. But that's a different point. So um yeah, my biggest learning is I haven't took any profits, and I was asking myself, okay, why haven't I took any profits? Why was I so irrational? And yeah, I reflected on this and I found out and I discovered basically it maybe not the right adjective, but I was way too exposed to market makers and social media influencers. So let's say, for example, listening to Bankless all day, every day, you get bullish on ETH, no question asked. They will come up with a calculation on why ETH will reach $80,000 within the cycle. And afterwards, you go on YouTube and you listen to Up Only. The show is called Up Only. And then you listen to Suzu, who's talking about the super cycle. So a lot of hopium was going
Still
on,
want to
and
run some? Well, you
this
still want to do.
manipulated me in a way. And I was naive, and I'm hopeful that I will learn out of it. And the next time when people talk about yeah, those crazy prices and they say, okay, this is a paradigm shift, they might be right, yeah, they might be right. But I want to make sure that the next time I will at least take a little bit of profits, like what Lucas did, and I want to make this based on fundamental data. So let's say, for example, the fear and greed index. If the fear and greed index is above, let's say, 70 for a couple of weeks, man, we might be in a situation where there is more euphoria than the price is yeah, is fair valued at. And also other things like NUPL. NUPL means net unrealized profit and loss for holders. There is some really interesting data out there, and I want to make sure that the next time when those fundamental indicators like the Mayer multiple, fear and greed index, then the NUPL, the sentiment I'm getting out of there. I want to make sure that the fundamental analysis helps me see clear that we might be in a hype phase. And also, I want to reflect on the sentiment in the market a little bit more. And I'm trying to make sure if people get too irrational, like talking about 80K Ethereum or the super cycle or whatever, I want to make sure that I start taking profits. And even though Bitcoin can go higher, that's awesome. But I think after seeing my whole portfolio go down like 80% the second time, the first time I basically lost everything. I want to make sure that this doesn't happen a third time if we go up to higher prices in the future. So this is the first learning I'm hopeful I take out of the cycle, and yeah, I would love to hear your take about it. Do you have any comments, any thoughts about this? And yeah, what do you think about it?
Yeah, um, I thought about something relatively similar, at least with regards to the fear and greed index, to to put some chips off the table when the fear and greed index is high. I didn't know what level would be high though, but 70 sounds all right. I think that's really good. Yeah, I do think like there is there's no optimal way to manage your portfolio really,
Mm,
because what you're saying is actually kind of like a momentum overlay. But what can happen, for instance, so the advantage of what you did or what you propose is that, of course, in this case, you would have sold some and you would have had some dry powder. But the
mm,
downside is you could have how do you call it, a zigzag effect, basically, where something happens, the fear and greed index goes up a lot, and then you sell, and then it goes back down or something. Or I mean,
mm,
no, it should be the other way around. It goes down, you sell, and then it goes back up.
mm,
So there's always trade-offs. So I wonder, ideally, you should probably backtest, like what would be a good momentum gauge. So at what
mm,
percentage up or down should you sell? I think that would also be an option. But yeah, it always comes at a certain risk, right? That you get zigzagged out. So,
mm,
but I think it is good. But in my view, you should do it based on fundamentals or based on timing and not on emotion. So you need to make
mm.
sure that if it hits your signal, that you have the discipline to carry through.
Yeah, that's true.
But
That's
I think that's fair.
yeah, this is the thing that I want to make sure that I do this based on data. Um, I have a recency bias, and the recency bias is that so not a big recency bias, but it's basically that. How do you explain the recency bias?
Yeah, that
Um,
you weigh actions or things that happened more recently. You weigh those higher when you
yeah,
make a decision.
exactly. And I noticed this in myself quite obvious, so I want to make sure that I put in data into place that I get yeah yeah not that emotionally biased or not that based on recency bias. So yeah, this is maybe what I'm looking for. I have some ideas for the data, like I said, the Mayer multiple or the fear and greed index or the NUPL, like real fundamental data. And judging the sentiment is yeah easier said than done, right? If people talk about 80K Ethereum and
Hmm.
if Ethereum is going from 2K to 3K to 4K to 5K, then you say, okay, it might be possible. But yeah, yeah, this is just the bigger thing I would like to work on if we go up to new all-time highs within the next couple of years,
Okay.
which might happen, which might not happen. But that's a different topic. Like you scratched, like the environment is different in comparison to the last 10 years when Bitcoin got released, or even 14 years.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, it will be tricky to recognize when you are in this bubbly phase.
Mm,
Um, what I also think of, yeah, maybe the fear ingredient is pretty good because do you remember like Empire a while ago when they asked about to Santi what he was going to do, with his ETH? Because back then
mm,
ETH was still a lot higher, but back then we thought this was already like the bear market, like a couple of weeks ago.
mm.
So and he said no, there's no blood yet. And I was
Yeah.
surprised because I was feeling pretty bloody, but
Mm,
yeah, he was right. So I wonder if he bought a whole bunch of ETH around these prices. But yeah, I
mm,
definitely think these extremes are. yeah, are definitely good points to buy or sell depending on what extreme it is.
Mhm. Yeah, cool. Thanks for letting me know what you think about it.
Sure.
So I think there is not much more on our agenda right now. Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, sure. Let's wrap it up.
Okay, okay. Then, guys, just one small nuance I would like to end it with. So I got asked over the last couple of weeks and days, what do I think about crypto and if people should invest now or should not invest now. I think do your research, your own research, build your own conviction because you might have a nice entry price, but it could also go down like another 80%. I wouldn't be super surprised. And build your own conviction and do your research about dollar cost averaging. And yeah, just a small tangent. Okay, okay, guys. Then yeah, stay safe and see you in 2 weeks, right, Mark? Not next week, right?
Yes, exactly. So I'll be on holiday next week without a laptop nor a mobile phone, so I
Oh,
won't be able
nice.
to record a podcast. So we'll have a 1 week hiatus.
Okay, okay, guys. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Yeah, let's hope the market is a lot higher when we return, Patrick.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
see.
goodbye, folks. Bye bye.
Bye.